Hello guys, in this tutorial we will be making a form app. It looks like this. This is made for my favorite team, Real Madrid. You can see categories: official, general, mobile, and help. Everything it can be different, of course. You can create your own categories. You can go to forums. You can see active threads. You can see replies and threads and replies. You can go to different pages. Works like this. You can search the forum. Works like so. Now let's get to it, guys. So the first thing you will need to do, I will not create a Laravel. I assume that you know Laravel. I assume that you know Vue. This is not a tutorial for beginners. This is a tutorial for people who already know Vue. I will start off by using my skeleton. I created a special skeleton, which is a pre-configured Laravel and Vue boilerplate application, ready for coding, because there are some things that are just not pre-configured with Laravel, which I really need to be configured. Like, okay, this is not done because it should be a star, but I will do it later. But I'll provide a link in the description for this. So what you need to do is copy this, open a new window in VS Code, I will drag it over here because it's on my other screen, and I will open new terminal. I will cd into my D drive, into my htdocs. I assume you have a server on your local machine. If you don't, you can download XAMPP. You also need Composer and Node.js. You can download them as well if you need them. So what I will do is I will make a directory called YouTube forum, and in this directory I will say git clone, like so, with a dot here, important. Now I will open this directory. And here we go. Now we have it. So the first thing I will do is actually do this, where I will just do a little thing like this, important. Now it's done. Now what we have here is a simple boilerplate application. We can see here, if we go to resources and views, that it's ready for our application. It's not a typical Laravel view, but my own, suited for usage with JavaScript assets. As you can see, we also have a login and register ready. So this is done for us automatically. Authentication in Vue and home. Now what we can do is we can go to new terminal. We will need to npm install. So it's installing now. Now while it's installing, I will create a few database migrations. First we need a forum migration. So I will create a new terminal and write php run php artisan make migration create fora table. Something's wrong here. Oh yeah, I forgot to run a composer update. You need to run composer update, of course. So when it's done, I'm going to continue the video. Okay guys, it's done installing. Now we should be able to run PHP artisan make migration fora. And in this, we shall have table, integer, category ID, table, integer, views, and default v0, table, integer, replies, default 0, table, string, title. That's it. And now we need categories, so we shall write categories. Sorry. And in categories we shall write just table, string, title. Then we need threads. And threads will have table, integer, user ID, table, integer, form ID, table, integer, replies, default 0, and table, string, title. Then we will need posts. So on posts, and in posts we need table, integer, user ID, table, integer, thread ID, and table, text, body. That's it. Now we should be able to run, well, not yet, because we need our database. So let's go to localhost. Now we have phpMyAdmin open here. So let's create a new database called YouTube forum. And in our env file, we shall call this YouTube forum. This is root, and this is empty. So if we run php artisan migrate now, everything should be done. Now let's make some models for our page, for our app. So php artisan make model category. We also need form. We also need post. And we also need thread. Now we also need some controllers as well. So let me take a look what we need. We need php artisan make controller category controller. We need form controller. and we need post controller. Sorry, that's my phone. And we also need thread controller, and we also need user controller. So let's start with user controller. So app, and this we can delete. App, controllers, user controller. We need a few functions. We need login. So login is going to take a request. And so we say if. We also need to say use app category, use app post, use app thread, use app user, use illuminate, support, facades, auth. Now here we can say if auth attempt if we done this, we can say return response JSON auth user status of 200, else we say return response JSON. Here we say in the array we say error 401 and status of 200. We don't want errors in our side. Doesn't really matter how you do it. Now we need our register function. So register, it will take a request of type request, and here we will say first we need to check if the email exists. So we say user equals to user where email is equal to request email, and first we need the first record. So if is set user ID, so if it exists in database, it means that the email is taken, so we need to return the error. So we say return response JSON error email taken status of 200. Here we go. Otherwise we create a new user, so we say user equals new user. We say user name equals to request name, user email equals to request email, and user password equals to decrypt request password, then user save. Then we say auth login user, then we return response JSON user status of 200. Then we need a logout method. We say auth logout and we return response JSON true status of 200. Then we need an init function which we'll need to write first before we write anything else. So we say init. Actually this is empty, and here we say user equals to auth user, Now we need to check how many threads we have. So thread count equals to thread all count. Then we say active threads, thread latest, update that column. We take 10 and then we get them. Now we say for each active threads as active thread. We say active thread latest post equals to post with user. We need to take the user with us. Then we say where thread ID equals to active thread ID. We take latest. We take first. And then we return response JSON. It's going to be an array with thread count. Then we say active threads, and then we say user, and it's going to be a status of 200. And that's our user controller. Now we need let's take our category controller. It's going to be a function called getCats for categories. Then we say cats equals to category with fora get. And we also need to say use app category, use app forum, use app post, and use app user. Now we need to say for I equals 0, I is less than count of cats, I++. Then we say current category equals to cats I. Now we need to say for j equals 0, j count current category fora j++. We say current forum equals to current category fora and j. Now we assign current forum latest to post left join threads on post thread ID equals to threads.id, where threads.forum ID equals to current forum ID. Then we say latest. Then we say select posts everything, and we say threads title as thread title and threads ID as thread ID. and then we say first. This will get a latest post in the forum. So we say current forum, latest, then we attach the user to it. We say user find current forum, latest, user ID. And then we need replies, current forum replies equals to post, left join, threads, on posts, thread ID equals to threads.id, where threads form ID equals to current forum ID, and then we get count. And that's it, guys. Now we return response JSON cats status of 200. Now we need to get our forum controller in order. And we will need use app forum, capital F, important, use app post, use app thread, use app user. And we need to create a function called get forum by ID, and this will take an ID. And here say forum find ID. How? Then we say if not is set forum ID, then we return response JSON error of 401 status of 200. Otherwise we say forum views ++, and we save the forum, save the views. Now we need threads. So threads is thread where form ID is equal to forum ID. We get the latest and we paginate 10. Then we say forum threads equals to threads. Then we say for I equals 0, I is less than count of forum threads, and I++. We iterate. So we say thread equals forum threads I. And we say thread latest post equals to post with user thread.user where thread ID equals to thread ID. We say latest, and we say first. Then we say thread post count equals to post where thread ID equals to thread ID. Then we count. Now we say user equals to user find thread user ID, and we say thread user equals to user. Now we return response JSON, we return forum status of 200. Now we need our post controller, so we need use app post, use app thread, and we also need use app use illuminate, support facades auth. Now we need to create a post, so we say function create and take a request. We say post equals to new post, post user ID equals to auth ID, post body equals to request body, post thread ID equals to request thread ID. Now we say post save, then we say post user equals to auth user, and we say thread equals thread find post thread ID, and we say thread replies plus plus, and we say thread save. Then we say post thread equals to thread we say thread latest post equals to post with user where ID equals to post ID first, then we return response JSON thread status of 200. Now we need to create our thread controller. It's going to have three functions. So we need to say use app post, use app thread, use app user, and then we say use illuminate support facades auth, and then we say use is gonna copy this. I want to say db here. Here we need a function, public function get thread by ID, and take ID, and here we say thread equals to thread with user forum where ID equals to ID. Let me take the first one. Then we say post equals to post with user where thread ID equals to thread ID, then we paginate 10, then we say thread posts equals to posts, and we return response JSON thread status of 200. Next we will create our search function. So function search, and then we say search query, and then we say thread equals to thread with user where title like, then we say these things, and we say string to lower search query, then we select threads, we select everything, then we say latest, then we say paginate 10. Now for each threads as thread, we say post equals to post with user where thread ID equals to thread ID latest and first. Then we say thread latest post equals to post. Then we say return response JSON threads status of 200. Then we have a function called create. So we do create, we take request, you say thread equals new thread, form ID equals to request form ID, say thread title equals to request title of thread user ID equals to auth ID. Then we say thread save. And we create a new post. We say post thread ID equals to thread ID. We say post user ID equals to auth ID. We say post body equals to request body. Then we say post save. Then we say thread latest post equals to post with user where ID equals to post ID and first. Then we return response JSON thread status of 200. And that's our controllers, guys. Now we need to update our models. So category, we say protected table equals categories. Then we say function public function fora. Then return this has many app forum category ID and then ID. I can omit this ID. Now we need our forum. We say category. Now we say return this belongs to app category and then category ID. Then we say public function threads. We turn this has many app thread form ID. Now we need to go to post. See function thread we return this belongs to app thread. Then we say function user return this belongs to app user. Now we need our thread. This will be quite a few. This will be 3. So function user return this belongs to app user. Then we say forum return this belongs to app forum on forum ID. Then we say function post. I actually don't think we're going to use this, but I just write it for security measures to be sure. Belongs to app post thread ID. And let's see if we need something in the user. No, we don't. That's it, guys. That's the PHP. In the next lecture, we will write our Vue components and we'll finish the app. So see you guys.